women have the final say. Because realistically, I always say right now, if I get pregnant for someone that I am not married to, Father, forgive me, but we know Wagwan, because I'm not having another kid.
But if you have it, that means you wanted it.
No, absolutely. And then, and so...
Can I ask you a question? If women can have an abortion based upon that, and they don't care about men's feelings, don't you think men should be able to have a financial abortion? Hold on a second. If you can hold on a second. If I want a child, if I get you pregnant and I want the child and you don't want the child based upon wherever in your life, you just said you're going to do what you have to go and do, abort the mission, I
didn't say abort the mission. I said we're going to talk to
You're going to abort the mission, okay? But guess what? You don't care about my feelings. You don't care that I may have wanted to be a father. You don't care, innit, So you abort the mission, cool, innit, But then, let's say I don't want the child and you want the child, Hold on a second, hold on a second.
Wait, because if you don't want the child, should you be allowed to step back?
No, I'm saying something. I'm showing the hypocrite. I'm saying, right, there's a lot of men, I may have wanted a child. You don't know. I may have had a child with a girl and she may have got pregnant. I may have wanted it. I'm not saying I wanted it. But
wow, fellas. This is a very interesting topic here. I find it very especially interesting because it's funny because today I saw a Reddit post. And in that Reddit post, it was about a guy, mid-20s with his wife, also mid-20s. And this couple, they do well for themselves, right? They have a household income north of 300K a year. Yet he found out like they were pregnant 2 months ago, and his wife wasn't ready to have a child, and she went ahead and aborted the child. And the guy was posting on Reddit, Off My Chest Reddit, just to kind of like share his grievances about how hurt he was. And in the comment section there, you could see a lot of like people even asking him, like, why doesn't he care about his wife and how she feels? There were some comments that also acknowledged his feelings, right? But most of them just kind of were like, just kind of deal with it. And it's her body, her choice, right? So that got me really thinking. And I really would like to hear from you guys on this one. So y'all, please let me know what you think about this down in the comments below. I'm not going to interject as much on this one because it's a very interesting topic indeed. Grab your favorite beverage, sit back and just enjoy.
It could have happened, right? And she could have aborted that child, had no say in it. So therefore, don't you think that men should be able to have financial abortion? If a woman has the right to choose, my body, my choice, don't you think the man should be my wallet, my choice?
So, okay, cool. Perfect. I've had this conversation with someone before. She had a child. The guy told her from the jump, I don't want this kid. If you keep this kid, I'm not going to be involved. She decided to keep the kid. When the child was born, he maintained. He has stood 10 toes on what he said. And I have said to her, whilst I still think he's a waste man. Because that's his blood. Aside from her, that's your bloodline. Aside from however you feel about your baby mom, it will never change the fact that that's your bloodline. So that's fine.
But what if it was a one-night stand, right? If it was a one-night stand, and then the girl gets pregnant, should the guy step up in that case? What should happen in that case? Because I'm pretty sure nobody goes and has a one-night stand with intentions of becoming a father. Or even a mother, right? But usually like it's always the women that have the final decision on if a child is brought into this world or not. So I want to hear from you, gentlemen, down in the comments below. What are you guys going to do if you have a one-night stand with a girl and she gets pregnant and she tells you? Are you going to be involved in that child's life? Or are you just going to be like, at this shit, I'm out. No thanks.
Fuck this shit, I'm out. Fuck this shit, I'm out. No thanks. Don't mind me.
I really want to know what you guys are going to do about that one. Y'all let me know down in the comments below.
I still agree that he said from the beginning that's
you
what
do
he
realize
wants.
There's a certain
but
amount,
that doesn't take away the fact that
you
I
do
still
realize
feel like he's
there's
waste.
a certain amount of attachment that men get to women
to the baby.
So I want you guys to understand, like, stop putting semen and bus and you trying to think that means something. A man busts inside of you, he does not attach that to the child. Okay, I want you to understand this. Now, traditionally, having a child outside of wedlock, they would have called you a whore, they would have called those kids bastards. This is what it is, and this is what it's still called now. That's what I grew up to, right? Okay, cool. So what we're doing right now is we're calling people baby mamas and single mothers, but people could be saying a lot worse, but we're not doing that. What you want to do is this. I'll be honest with women. Marriage protects women, okay? Because you guys initiate divorce and, you know, you get most of everything. The kids go with you and, you know, suicide rates and men's depression, all these things, right? So if you want to be protected, what women, you don't want child support. You want spousal support and alimony. The problem is you become baby moms, not you per se, but I'm saying they become baby. having a child with someone is equal to be married to them. It's the same thing, okay? It's the exact same thing. In actual fact, you're connected straight away. So if you're willing to give a man a child, you might as well secure the ring, because if you decide to leave, at least now he has to pay for you. What you're doing is...
Interesting. I agree with this guy. He's spitting facts, to be honest, right? Marriage really... And that's what I'm going to tell my daughters as well, is always marry before you carry, right? You can't just go around giving up your womb to any Tom, Dick, and Harry, right? So you got to be very selective, and most importantly, you got to freaking marry before you carry, y'all. Because yes, it's the marriage that really protects you, especially in the West. It really gives you that back end. I do agree. I think the back end is there for a reason, right? Because I think way back when, women, they could just get like trashed and tossed to the side, right? So that's why we have these marriage laws now. That tends to protect the women, and now they've kind of made it. It's not. I think it's shifted very much to the women's side, and I think it needs to kind of be in the center where it's more fair for both the guys and the girls. Because what do you see now? You see a lot of guys no longer want to partake in marriages, right? Because it's so risky, right? Like, why would you want to go into a contract that rewards someone for leaving said contract, right? And as we already know, many women, they're not going to go with guys that make less than them, right? So this is why it's usually the guys that are having to pay alimony and child support and all that. Is because women, they will normally go for guys who make significantly more money than they themselves, right? So I think we need to find a happy medium where like it's a win-win, because if not, you're going to keep seeing marriage rates dropping lower and lower and lower, right? And then what's the other thing I wanted to point out is, what you will notice is that women, they have a very solid, like a social support group, whereas men, we tend to be loners. There's always like this shame around it. Like when a guy is like going through like a breakup, he's always like ashamed to cry in front of his boys, for example, right? Because they're going to call him a wimp and a sissy, right? So he has to just kind of brood in silence and keep it inside. This probably is part of probably why the suicide rates are much higher in men than you see in women, right? Because guys, they always want to just shoulder everything by themselves. Yeah. But yeah, he also raised a very good point about like the men being able to opt out with their wallets, since women are able to decide whether a child is born or not, regardless of what the man says. He makes a good point that the man then should be able to opt out. And I'm going to cover that at the end of this video. But I just want to keep this clip playing for now.
You're finessing yourself out of what was actually good. Now you're getting child support. Child support don't mean nothing. That's a couple bills. That's not going to change your life. And if your man is self-employed, just forget about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. So why I try to put onus on the woman is because I look at women. Women are the prize. Women have always been the prize. But you don't become the prize when you allow bare man to start unwrapping the prize and passing it around.
Exactly. I love what this guy just said right now. Women, I don't think anybody is the prize, to be honest. I think like a guy is the prize, and also his wife is the prize, right? Even in the Bible, it says, he who finds a wife has found a good thing. So they do acknowledge that a good wife is in fact a true blessing. But what is a good wife, and how rare is a good wife, right? Because nowadays you have a lot of women that like, they don't really... You get the impression that like they always run into the divorce. They want the guy to just be like perfect, and once he steps out of line, then it's divorce him, right? So that's not really a good thing, right? I know with my parents, they had their ups and their downs, but they still stuck by each other's sides, and they raised us. There was 5 of us. They were able to stick together to raise us, right? And I really appreciate them for that, because I don't know how my upbringing would have been being brought up in a broken family, like with a single mom or a single dad, right? And now to go back to his first point, where he talks about men being able to opt out with their wallets, right? That would be nice, and I do agree that that is the logical thing to do, but that's just not how it works, because somebody's got to pay for those kids, right? And it's not going to be the government, so they're going to obviously come after the guy. So my advice for you, like as a guy, like any guy out there, is, guys, like stop getting girls pregnant that you don't intend to marry or that you're not married to, right? And if you want to be out there in the streets, slinging your Johnson around, my advice is consider and seriously consider getting fixed. Because there's no faster way to screw up your lives. And I'm talking to like my youngins right there, right now. So there's no faster way to screw up your lives than having like different baby mamas, right? That is the worst way. You could literally make your life a living nightmare just by having one or two of the wrong baby mamas, right? You could end up wishing you were dead even. So that's my advice for you. If you're going to be slinging your stuff around, I don't even think wrapping it up is enough. I think seriously consider getting fixed. And a lot of those surgeries are actually reversible. So you can always reverse it whenever you do decide to start your family. Because that is the only time you're able to really control your future. Like once your semen has gone into a woman, right? You've relinquished that control. And at that point, she alone decides what happens next and if you're going to be a father or not. And with that, I leave you guys with this here. If you're liking the content, be sure to smash that like, smash that subscribe. And until next time, peace!